This is Breaking News.
This is one of the largest agreements in New York City, and it's an honor, I know, for our side to be part of this and set the standard for so many people who take care of the residents of this city. This contract has meaning to the residents. I know it has meaning to the building owners, the co-ops, the condos, and I know it has meaning to the 1.5 million residents in 32 BJ buildings. Our goals were simple: to raise the wage to a level that our members can live in this city, and we are proud to say that we did that with a $4.50 raise over the life of this agreement. Our goal was to protect the health care for the 34,000 men and women who take care of these buildings, and I'm proud to say that we have protected the family health insurance with no premium sharing for all 4 years of this agreement. And our third major goal was to take a step forward that's very hard these days, but to improve the pension for these folks who give decades and decades of service to these buildings. And I am also proud that beginning in July of this year, we'll have a 15% pension improvement for every 32 BJ member who puts in the years and retires as a 32 BJ member after all this time. So let's give it up for that. All right. We are also proud that we found ways to cooperate with the industry on immigration issues at this very unsettled time. And we're also very proud that we're finding a way for training opportunities for new hires so that they can take classes, invest in the industry, invest in the buildings, and move through the new hire rate faster, which could mean for some people $3 to $7 an hour raises earlier than we would have, which will be life-changing for new hires and make them more invest in the building. So let's give it up for that as well. And the last thing I'll say, but I turn it over to our partners, this would not be possible without the creativity, the commitment on both sides. You can never bargain in one way, and we have had the honor of sitting down with my co-lead bargainer for the RAB, Howard Rothschild, who we very much appreciate your contributions and how you led your side of the table. But really for the entire industry, they came. There was never any doubt that they wanted to do the right thing for the working people who take care of the buildings. It was just how we were going to get there and whether we had the money to get there. And at the end of the day, we are very proud from the creativity and commitment that the industry put in that we could get to this. So we are also very appreciative of what you all do as well. So thank you. And the last thing I'll say is, because I think it's incredibly important to say, is a lot of that creativity came from working on healthcare over the past few years. Our ability to jointly with the industry address the issues of healthcare, ensure that healthcare costs were at a reasonable level, and address the issues through legislative on the city and state level by taking on some of the big hospital chains has been incredibly important to free up the money that allowed our members to get the raises they need at this hard time and protect their health care. And that was a cooperative effort. And again, I thank Howard for his contributions in the entire industry. So thank you for all your contributions. Thank you for allowing us to get this deal. It's an incredibly good deal for both sides. It's a win-win, and we are honored to have taken part in this process. 32 BJ! And with that, let me turn it over to my bargaining partner, Howard Rothschild.
Thank you, Manny. As I've often said, our relationship is the gold standard of labor relations in this country. Our collective bargaining over the last 90 years is based on mutual respect and has led to uninterrupted labor peace over the last 35 years. I'm prouder than ever that we're able to keep that streak going for the next 4 years. We all know the difficult circumstances facing the industry, including proposed 0% rent-regulated increases for this year and perhaps for years to come, over-regulation, particularly local laws, which makes it difficult and more expensive to own and operate residential buildings in New York City, and constantly increasing real estate taxes, and co-ops and condos grappling with sharply increasing operating costs. Together, we have achieved an agreement that faces these challenges head-on, and it will allow us to succeed together. In negotiations, there's always a give and take. This one was no different. Ultimately, both sides thought carefully about the current economic situation and how to make contract improvements that we can all be pleased with. This agreement is a win, 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 win. It's a win for employers. It's a win for the union. And most importantly, it's a win for our employees. And the last win is a win for the residents of this great city. Thank you, Manny, for this partnership. We've been at this together for many years, and I'm proud that we can serve as an example for how others can successfully deal with collective bargaining, which benefits everyone. Thank you very much. Sure.
A question. Mayor Mamdani, the city council speaker, came out in support of the workers. What effect did that have on negotiations?
Why don't you answer?
So what I would say is that it meant a lot to the members who were there, to the 34,000 members who take care of the residents every day. I think that the mayor and the speaker of the city council have both talked about the affordability challenge of this city. And I think a lot of the issues around this contract were aimed at that. So the fact that they stood and endorsed what we're fighting for, because one of the best ways to deal with the affordability crisis is to raise wages. And I think that, for them to stand there and support us, to help push to a settlement, obviously was meaningful to all 34,000 residential members and meaningful to the union, and we appreciated to have them there.
Does it mean New York City is becoming more pro-union?
I think the mayor has been a great ally. In his first 100 and few days now that he's been a great ally. We've appreciated having him there. He's been focusing on the issues that workers have been focused on, and we've very much appreciated that.
The different tiers that were spoke about, obviously you mentioned that healthcare was negotiated.
Yeah.
The tier structure that was spoken about for different members coming in,
Yeah.
Was everything that you was asking for, did you accomplish that?
We did. I think there were a number of issues that were challenged, and I think Howard talked about the challenges on their side of the table and what they needed to get there, and I think through creativity we were able to get where we need to go, and part of that was avoiding premium sharing in the healthcare, which was incredibly important and could have been a potential strike issue. And the other issue that was on the table until the very end, until just a couple hours ago, was a two-tier wage system, and we're proud to say that we were able to push that off as well. And that is not part of the settlement.
Mr. Rothschild, I just wanted to ask if, one, you could answer the question of how you felt with the mayor and the council speaker coming out in support of 32BJ, how that affected the contract negotiations, and a word, please, on some of the residents in the buildings. Obviously, as you mentioned, the maintenance costs are going up for the members, things like that. And could you tell an estimate how much the residents could see an increase in their maintenance bills each month?
I'll try to answer those 9 questions. In terms of the mayor's involvement, I would just succinctly say we looked at it a little bit differently than 32BJ, which I think is probably apparent. But very seriously, negotiations for a labor contract are done at the negotiation table, we do not let outside forces exert themselves in this negotiation. We came out in a place in this negotiation that we're very proud of. We took care of our employees now and going forward. In terms of maintenance costs, This city is a really expensive place to live. That shouldn't be news for anyone in this room. But we came up with some innovative and creative solutions to really mitigate those cost increases so that we could have really generous wage increases over the next 4 years. I think Manny mentioned $4.50. That number is exactly right. But we figured out other ways to save money in terms of this agreement.
You have a few, just an example?
So one of the things that we included in this agreement is a health fund holiday in the first year. That mitigates the cost increase in the first year. That can save employers money. As Manny had mentioned in his statement, we have done tremendous amount of work in terms of mitigating cost increases for that our health fund pays. We have a multi-employer fund that we manage. We spend billions of dollars a year in healthcare to provide really first-class health benefits for all workers. That premium is fully paid for by the employer, and our employees are the recipients of great medical care. But great medical care costs a lot of money. And so over the last few years, healthcare inflation has greatly outpaced general inflation. And so we have really looked at this issue very closely and figured out ways to save money on a going forward basis, not at the expense of our employees. We provide the highest quality health care at really value-based prices. And that takes a lot of time and effort, and both Manny and I sit on various committees, the health fund and other committees, to look at ways to save money, and we are constantly doing that so that when we get together here for a contract negotiation, you may look at it, we do this once every 4 years. That's really not a good sense of what happens. We are with the union every day with our sleeves rolled up, looking at these issues very seriously and figuring out ways to provide the best health care benefits that our employees can have at value-based pricing. And we've done a great job at it. And as a result of that, we have built up a reserve in the health fund that allowed us to take a health fund holiday. So this is not a once in 4 year deal. This is a deal Monday through Friday, every week, and we're hard at it.
Just a question about the wage increase. Can you just elaborate on, you said the increase would be $4.50. Can you just talk about that? Is that an annual increase? Does that change after the year?
It's $4.50 per hour over the 4 years. So I think it's probably been reported in the press that the regular rate for a porter or doorman is about $62,000 right now. At the end of this contract, it'll be $9,000 more. It'll be $71,000.
What changed today? Obviously now having this tentative agreement, was there more optimism going into the bargaining today than we were aware of, or did both sides sort of relent in order to come to this agreement all in a day's time to negotiate?
You know, every bargaining agreement is a give and a take. And we look at this, and I think the union looks at this as a total package. This truly was a win all around. There are things in this agreement that we wanted that ultimately we didn't achieve. But at the end of the day, we wanted to take care of our employees. We value our employees very much. And we wanted to have labor peace. We've been doing this for a really long time, and we wanted to continue that because at the end, if there was a strike, everyone loses. So we wanted to figure out a way to win, and it was because of Manny and the leadership of 32BJ that ultimately we came to a deal.
Can I add something?